Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Sharif Ishak talking Saints and Senior Bowl 15 minutes from right now. We'll talk Tigers with Glenn West at 1:30. Garrett Nussmeier was on with the boys this morning from the Senior Bowl and kind of have some reaction to what he had to say. Got a story up at LouisianaSports.net on that right now. Sam Spiegelman from Rivals at 2 o'clock. Joe Brady's the new head coach of the Bills. We'll talk about that. So plenty to do. Lock us in for the next 2 hours. Let's get it started the way we do every single day with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
You know, there was a time where this was among the most fascinating times in the college football calendar. It's not anymore, but it was. When you were approaching that first week in February, you knew National Signing Day was afoot. And it was rumors, and it was visits, and it was crystal balls, and it was Twitter posts, and it was the Bayou Bash, and it was ESPNU's 24 hours of coverage. Like, it was a massive deal. And it's not anymore because everybody signs in December. LSU, as it stands right now, is set to receive one signature coming up next week. But in the news was LSU's signing class for 2026 today, because the folks at Rivals put out their final and most updated 300. It included some new 5-stars, some shuffling of positions, and this is where the class will ultimately rest, according to the folks at Rivals. Now, you still got the folks at 24/7 who do it, and you still got ESPN, and they didn't put anything out that was updated today. So this is just Rivals creating its own news with the On3 brand. But I still found it noteworthy as far as LSU is concerned, because these are guys you're bringing into the program. And I stand by this. It's not even close to the only way to accumulate talent. But I do see significant benefit in adding Will Campbell to your program from the high school ranks. I see significant benefit in adding a player like Whit Weeks. I see significant benefit in adding DJ Pickett. I think having Harold Perkins here for 4 years is a good thing. Same thing goes for Harlem Berry. Like, I think getting really good high school players is important. It's not as important as it once was. No one would argue against that. You can now go into the transfer portal. LSU signed 41 kids in the transfer portal, okay? It makes it hard for freshmen to get to the field really quickly, and you do have to operate with the understanding that the freshmen who come in very well could bounce immediately out. Lance Hurd comes to mind. But I think there's value in getting really good high school players who could have a 3 or 4 year impact on your program. And LSU is a place where you can do that as high a level as you can anywhere. And I do believe that Lane Kiffin saw significant value in that. Now, if you're an Ole Miss fan, you want to push back and say, it doesn't matter. High school kids, probably going to bounce after 1 year. They're not going to help you next year. You replace them in the portal. Like, what does it matter? And that's a discussion you can have, and I don't know that there's a right or wrong answer to it. I feel comfortable in my assertion that you got to blend the two together, and that having 3 and 4 year high school players is very important. But to what degree that importance is, I think that's up for debate. But for LSU's class, you know it's small, right? Small, 15 kids, because you had a coach fired in October, and then it was evident that that offensive staff was going to move on, and you had some decommitments here and there, and it was going to be a small class in a coaching transition. But you signed 15 kids, and as you look at the final Rivals rankings, Lamar Brown comes in at number 10 player in the country according to Rivals, number 1 player in Louisiana, number one player at his position, which they've got labeled as defensive line. Number one player in the country there, Lamar Brown, 5-star. Richard Anderson, 5-star. Number 2 player in the state, number 3 defensive lineman. So 2 of the top 3 defensive linemen in the country, according to Rivals, in your class. And then the biggest mover by a long shot in LSU's class, which actually surprised me a little bit today. Your third 5-star in this class is Corey Barber. And I would not be surprised if many of you listening did not even know who Corey Barber was. There are plenty of you that do, but plenty that don't. Corey Barber is a wide receiver from Alabama, the state of Alabama, not the school. Talking high school kids. From the state of Alabama. And when Lane Kiffin came in, he looked at LSU's class. He looked at some players that were committed to him at Ole Miss, and I think he had some conversations. And you pretty quickly saw Kenny Darby from Bossier decommit from LSU. And immediately following, Darby out at wide receiver from Airline, Corey Barber in. He had been committed to Ole Miss. All of a sudden now he's committed to LSU. And Rivals moved him up to the number 28 player in the country. Number 3 wide receiver in the country. Number 2 player in the state of Alabama. He's in LSU's class. So 3 5-stars in this class for LSU. Lamar Brown, Richard Anderson, and Corey Barber. All 3 in the top 28 players in the country. Deuce Gerald's number 108 nationally. Trenton Henderson, number 144 nationally. What that means is those 2 guys round out that defensive line class that now has 4 defensive linemen in this class in the top 144 in the country as far as overall players go. And you're talking about 4 guys in the top 20 on the defensive line. Brown is 1, Anderson's 3, Deuce Gerald number 11 on the defensive line, and then Trenton Henderson is actually an edge, so a different category. He's the number 20 edge player, a 4-star. This class has 3 5-stars and 7 4-stars. That's 10 of your 15 players in this class are either a 5-star or a 4-star. No one signed more 5-stars according to Rivals than LSU. In fact, LSU had the most 5-star signees amongst the Rivals rankings. You've got, as I mentioned, the 4-stars, Deuce Gerald's, Trenton Henderson, Bryson Martinez, the big offensive tackle from over at EA and Gonzalez. Haven Finney comes in. He is a 4-star. He is the number 24 corner in the country, but that's a guy that Corey Raymond has identified for a long time from out in the state of California. You bring him into the class. He joins what is a relatively thin cornerback room. Like, you got Pickett, you got Woodland, Jakeem Jackson comes back, you got Aiden Anding, and then, like, you're a little bit thin beyond that at corner. So Haven Finney, who is a reclassifier, comes in. Another wide receiver, Braden Allen, is a 4-star in this new Rivals rankings. He was a 4-star entering. That's the one who was considering Ole Miss, was considering Oklahoma. Then Lane Kiffin got the job at LSU. The previous LSU offensive staff was not going to bring him in. This one wanted to. Braden Allen flips to LSU. He joins the fold at wide receiver. Jabari Mack, a 4-star by Rivals, the number 39 wide receiver in the country, number 8 player in the state of Louisiana. LSU lands him to go with what is a pretty impressive wide receiver haul. And then you got Isaiah Washington, who's the final 4-star in this class, a 3-star by ESPN and 247. 1-3 and Rivals like him a little bit more. They've got him as a 4-star, number 11 player in the state of Louisiana, number 25 player at safety in the country. They have Aiden Hall as a 3-star in these. Hall is a 4-star by 24/7 and a 4-star by ESPN, but Dakar safety is a 3-star according to Rivals. So is Dez Ellis, big Franklin Parish corner, 6'2", played everywhere there at Franklin Parish in Winsboro. And then the lowest ranked players in this class are actually the 2 guys that LSU got from Ole Miss's class, aside from Barber. J.C. Anderson, the big 6'6", 230-pound tight end, is a 3-star. And then Ryan Moret, interior offensive lineman from Miami, another 3-star. These are 2 guys that Ole Miss had in their class. Lane Kiffin goes to LSU. Those 2 guys flip. So if you look at the guys that Lane Kiffin essentially inherited, you're looking at a star-studded class. And then he supplemented it. And I still went and checked the rankings. As far as team rankings go, LSU is down the list because of the number of commits that they got. USC signed the top class in the country. They have 35 players in that class. 35. I mean, that includes 13 3-stars in that class, 2 5-stars, and then 24 stars. LSU only had 17 kids total in this class when you count the guys that are committed. And when you look at the average rating of the players and you sort it by that way instead of the class score, which is just going to take because you have a lot of players, LSU's class, which is 11th in the country by Rivals, is 2nd in the country in terms of average player rating, just behind Oregon. So you've got a class that's got a lot of really good players in it. You just don't have a lot of players. But I think it's interesting that On 3 pegged Barber as a 5-star recruit. You know that Lane Kiffin and that offensive staff have a really good eye for offensive talent. They've done a lot offensively without a ton of first-round picks, without a ton of 5-star recruits. They know what they're looking for. Maybe there's a little bump involved that the On 3 folks look at the staff and go, well, if they think something of him, we'll think a little bit more of him. Those things are subjective anyway. But it's a pretty good class, especially at the top, to sign 3 5-star recruits in a year where you are having a coaching transition. I think that is pretty solid. There is no guarantee whatsoever any of these guys ever make an impact at LSU. I'm aware of that. I'm not naive enough to think that all these guys are going to be 4-year starters for LSU and be first-team All-Americans. But like I said at the top of the show, I think there is real use in getting high-level high school players, and I think that LSU offers you the ability to do that. I think that's a difference from where Lane Kiffin has come from, and we'll see if it, in fact, pays off. I didn't look and see where Ole Miss class ranked as far as average player rankings, but I can sure find it pretty quick. They are, that's not in order. I have to count. Let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20th is where Ole Miss comes in as far as average player ranking. When you look at the entirety of the class, where LSU ranks 11 among all the programs in college football. I'd tell you what Ole Miss was if my page wasn't just frequently loading. Now it's not. Ole Miss comes in at number 25 as far as class rankings. So that's kind of what you would expect. LSU close to the top 10, Ole Miss hanging around 20 to 25. Transfer portal's been more important to Ole Miss than high school recruiting for a long time. We'll see if that continues under Pete Golding or not. At LSU with Lane Kiffin, they're going to focus on the state of Louisiana. They're going to focus on trying to get 4- and 5-star kids where they need help on the roster. They go in the portal. They're pretty well showing they can do that. So I just thought a cool story, and that's a look at the Rivals rankings. I'll get some thoughts from Sam Spiegelman coming up in 45 minutes about exactly why there was big movement and what he thinks of this class as a whole. But the new Rivals top 300 is out. LSU 3 5-stars, 2 players in the top 18 in the country. You can check it out over there on Rivals. We'll talk to Sam Spiegelman coming up in 45 minutes. All right, when we come back, Saints Senior Bowl. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Go check out Marucci. What a gem here in Baton Rouge. I told you about the Hitter's House. You can go in there and take hacks. How about also taking a campus tour? Going to see where the official bat of Major League Baseball is made. Started in a shed in 2004. They've come a long way in 22 years. They've come to the point where they're making 1,200 bats a day in a world-class facility that's right here in Baton Rouge. So if you've got a youth baseball team, youth softball team, a class, group of friends, want to just take the family or go yourself, go see Marucci, where they're making the official bat of Major League Baseball. You can find tickets at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. Just click the campus tour button there and bring your youngsters. Let them take some hacks. Let them see this gem that started in a shed in Baton Rouge and is now the mecca where they make bats for the pros, make them for all over the world. It's maruccisports.com/campus-tour. Check them out, maruccisports.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environment.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Say the draft starts in Mobile. That's this week, the Senior Bowl. Our guys, Matt Flynn, Jake Hester, there every morning from 7 to 10. Got 2 more shows there this week from Mobile. They're checking out practices, have some great interviews. Talked to Garrett Nussmeier today. And the Saints certainly take the Senior Bowl quite seriously based on proximity. And now got some guys on staff actually coaching this year. Sharif Ishak covers the black and gold for WDSU down in New Orleans. Joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sharif, how we doing?
I'm doing well, Hunt. I will say that there's some kind of background interference going on
with me and you.
Right now.
So can you hear an echo?
Yeah, there we go. We're good now. I was hearing a different program. We're good now. We're good.
Okay. Well, it happens. All right, we're good. So how seriously do the Saints take the Senior Bowl?
All right, we're good.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can definitely hear you now. There's a lot going on.
How seriously do the Saints take the Senior Bowl?
Very seriously, very, very seriously, because they really do a lot of their draft process and sometimes their selecting comes via the draft process. So, I mean, the Senior Bowl process. So I think that the contingency is out there. We're going to speak to them tomorrow with Jeff Ireland, but I think that like most of their damage is usually done via of the Senior Bowl week. They've selected quite a few players over the years. Thanks to what's going on in Mobile. So I think that will continue through this year's Senior Bowl.
Yeah, he took 5 last year. What do you want to hear from Jeff Ireland?
I truly want to hear that we're not drafting an offensive or defensive lineman. Really, I mean, I know they're not going to tip their hand, but I truly would like to hear them say, look, we want to build this team around Tyler Shuck. We have to find him some players, some playmakers that will help him succeed even more moving forward. And I understand that, the offensive line is very important. But look at the playmakers at the end of the year. No disrespect to all those guys, but the final game of the year, he was playing with guys you never heard of. And I understand injuries happen, but you have to, at some point in time, throughout this draft process, even if it's in Senior Bowl week, we got to hey, look at some of these receivers, tight ends, running backs. We've got to get Tyler some players. So I kind of hope they tip their hand a little bit and say, look, yeah, we need to get in some playmakers. I understand that we've always done our due diligence in the trenches, but we'd like to see something out there for Tyler.
Jeremiah Love has been a polarizing topic in Saints land these days. Some folks really want to do that. Some folks think taking a running back in the top 10 is nuts. What do you think about it?
He's my pick. He's been my pick for the last, month and a half.
Okay.
Look what he could do. 35 touchdowns the last 2 seasons. I think he had at least 1,200 yards rushing the last 2 seasons. He can catch the ball, big guy, runs between the tackles. That's what you want. You want somebody who's explosive. I don't know how to compare him, and I understand you don't want to draft a running back inside the top 10, but I think it's worked well for the Falcons, even though they're a disaster of a franchise. It's worked well for it did work well for the Giants when they drafted Saquon Barkley, and look what he's doing in Philadelphia. And I understand that it's a risk. It's a risk that you take, but I think that's an important part to the offense. You can get by with Devin Neal and Estime, and I don't know about Kendre Miller if he remains, what his path is going to be if he can't stay healthy. But you need to find that dual threat running back who's going to be the guy after Alvin Kamara retires or leaves the Saints.
Do you recall this time last year there being any buzz on Tyler Shuck and the Saints, or is that something that generated a little bit later? I know that Shuck was at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, there was some, not much, but it didn't pick up until you got closer to the draft. You start hearing from the national media and how the executives at the Saints really like him. I think Louis Riddick was the first to jump on the wagon, saying the Saints are big fans of Tyler Shuck. And don't be surprised if you see the Saints draft him at some point. And he was right. The Saints were right, and a lot of us were wrong. And so the buzz started getting hot and heavy there, as we got probably a week within the draft. And that's just how it works. You don't want to tip your hand, obviously, because you got a lot of these players other teams really are coveted or going after, and then that's just the smart move.
Have you heard any? You get a lot of Jeremiah Love in the mocks. You get a lot of Jordan Tyson in the mocks. Is there another player or two that you see cropping up that we're going to start talking about a little bit more as we inch toward April?
I don't know if he's going to drop to number 8, but offensive lineman from Miami, Francis Mauigoa.
Yep.
He's solid, and of course we know the Saints love offensive linemen. If he drops, it'd be tough for them to pass on him, and that's the one name you keep hearing. Ruben Bain, his teammate on the other side of the ball. I don't know how he's going to translate to the NFL, but man, if he plays like that, like he did throughout the playoffs and even throughout this entire season, he's going to be fine in the NFL. I don't care about arm length. I think the guy is explosive. He can get in the backfield. He can disrupt. He can create some havoc, sacks, TFLs. He'd be a solid guy, but I think it's time to move off of those type of names just for once and do the right thing, do the playmakers. But those are the two names I've seen: Bain and Mauigoa, and maybe even Caleb Downs. He wouldn't be a bad pick, honestly. I know he's not a guy in the trenches, but if he falls to you, it's tough to pass up on a player like Caleb Downs who can affect your secondary in many different areas of your secondary.
This will be a discussion probably for March, but before we get into significant scouting of players, I'm curious about philosophy, and we've seen the Saints handle the salary cap and free agency a little bit differently over the last 2 years in what kind of feels like a reset, and then you've got a different situation with your quarterback. Is there any chance they could trade off that pick?
Mickey Loomis laughed about that during the press conference he held once the season came to an end.
Okay.
This would be the year to do it. This would be the year to do it. If they're thinking about continuing to build the team in a cheap way and wait until next offseason to really become big spenders, this might be the draft to drop back from 8 to 13 or 8 to 14, pick up a couple extra picks and continue to build your team through the draft so you don't have to pay a lot of these players. There's always a chance. It's been a while since they've done it. It's close to 20 years since they even, I think it was 20 years, maybe 07 when they actually moved back.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, man. I mean, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for Mickey and Jeff to actually do it, knowing that they're still a year away from having really good money to mess with and get some players. But that doesn't stop them from going in there and doing some small signings, but I'd be careful how I spend this season and wait till next year.
I missed that laugh that he had. Like, was it a "there's no chance we're doing that" laugh, or like a "I wouldn't tell you," or like "yeah, I always get this question"? Like, what did you sense when he laughed at the question?
The laugh felt like a little bit different than past laughs. It felt like a you know what, maybe, just maybe this year, you know, we have our quarterback. Why should we be spending all of our money right now when we could possibly move back? That's not bad, guys. That's not bad type of laugh, you know?
It's just, I mean, that's the time of the calendar we're in. And if they're going to have these press conferences where, of course, general managers and head coaches are not going to tip their hand at how they're going to manage a roster because they've got to get into negotiations and all that kind of stuff, like you're going to end up in our position then analyzing non-answers and laughs. And that's, I guess, where we are in the calendar.
Welcome to the month of January, man.
Exactly.
That's what we get. We get those nervous media laughs. Those are my favorites. The media laughs are always get me in press conferences. I'm like, and I'm sure Mickey's like, look at these guys. Listen to them laugh at me.
Anything else that you are curious to hear from Ireland tomorrow, other than like, hey, what are you going to do with your first round pick, and maybe a thought on the salary cap, or maybe a thought on where their perceived weaknesses are?
I want to know if Kellen and Brandon Staley and the rest of the coaching staff, so especially Kellen, will be even more involved this time around, because they hired him after the Senior Bowl last year. It was after the Super Bowl,
right?
For obvious reasons. I want to know how much more involved will he be this year, because I think he had his footprints on last year's draft. I want to know, like, if he's going to have even more say-so on, hey, we need this guy. I want this guy. This is the guy I want. Because at times, Sean Payton made those picks. Those are the guys that Sean wanted back in the day. And you can still see that happening in Denver, the way he's drafting. So I need to know if Kellen's going to have even more say-so in this draft process. I mean, that's a big question. You want to know if your head coach is going to be allowed to draft his pieces.
Do you think he's earned that in 1 year?
I think he has earned a little bit of say-so. And I'm just saying, I think he did have some say-so in last year's draft, because some of those picks look a little different to me. I mean, yes, I know they needed a quarterback, but I think that was his quarterback that was drafted last year. So he picked Tyler Shuck. So I think if they trusted him with that, they're probably going to give him a little bit more trust.
We'll see. Curious to hear what the whole Saints brass has to say later this week in Mobile. We'll talk about it next week. Thanks, Sharif.
All right, Hunt, you'll be catching me hopefully in San Francisco when you call me next week at 2:30 Central Time. Hopefully.
Headed to the Super Bowl. Love to hear that, too. All right, Sharif Ishak, WDSU, down in New Orleans, covering the Saints. A big week for the Black and Gold in Mobile, and we'll hear from the Saints brass down there on the Gulf Coast a little bit later on this week. All right, Glenn West talking Tigers next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Short drive from Baton Rouge. If you're up in Baker or in Feliciana's, maybe over in Point Capee. It's a quick drive for you as well to Highway 61 in St. Francisville, where you can find Fabry Chevrolet. Changed ownership October 1st. Been rocking and rolling for 3 months now. You know what you're going to get with the Fabry family. They've been here for 35 years. You're going to get a great service experience. You're going to get a great buying experience. You're going to get great customer service. You can get the Chevy Silverados. You can get the Chevy Tahoe. Get the Chevy Suburban as well. Maybe looking at the GMCs, Sierras, Yukons, Denali's. They're all on the lot, new and certified pre-owned. Go ahead and check it out online, FabryChevrolet.com. Make that short drive up to St. Francisville on Highway 61. Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville, or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith.
Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle it.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Well, black and gold talk. We'll switch it over to purple and gold now. Glenn West, senior editor at Go 24/7, with us on Tuesday. Joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Glenn, how we doing?
Doing great, Hunt. How about yourself?
Doing all right. Let's start with basketball here briefly. Tigers go 0-2 last week. 2 tough road environments, 2 good opponents, and had a chance on Saturday and couldn't quite get it done. Where do they sit now at 1-6?
I mean, they're in win-now mode for the rest of the season, essentially. There's really no room for, further error here. I do think that these last 11 games do offer LSU an opportunity to potentially make a run if they're able to put it together. But, it's going to be really tough. I mean, they got to get De'Don Thomas back into the swing of things to where he's consistently contributing. You can tell that there's a difference in the way that they play offensively when he's out there. But he, needs to impact the scoring column a little bit more, needs to be a little bit more efficient. And I just think he just needs to be out on the floor a little bit more, and hopefully that stuff will be able to come. But, here over the last 11 conference games, they have 10 quad 1 and quad 2 opportunities. So they technically have, enough opportunities here if they can win enough games to kind of claw themselves back into this picture a little bit more. But it's going to be tough because you really can't afford much more room for error. And this schedule is a little bit more manageable here, but they've got a lot of work to do.
Is it reasonable to suggest that they can do it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that you got to take this team what it is at face value right now, and they haven't been able to close some of these games. I mean, I think they've done a good job of being able to claw themselves back into games, but they just haven't been able to finish. And I think a big part of that is the defense. I mean, they. For these first 8 conference games, they've had a half where they've given up 50 points, and you're not going to win very many games when you're consistently giving up that many points on the defensive side of the ball. So They've got to shore up defensively. They've got to become a more physical team on the interior. They've got to hit some more shots from the perimeter. But they have some talent on this team, and they've been able to claw themselves back. But to say that they're absolutely going to be able to claw themselves back into this season, I think is probably a bit naive right now. You got to see them win a few games and kind of get the ball rolling a little bit before you can kind of make more of those kinds of assumptions.
In almost 4 years of basketball, if I ask you for the identity of Matt McMahon's program, like what answer would you give me?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm scratching my brain right now. I think they're a team that wants to be a fast-paced offense. They want to be able to push the ball up the floor. They want to be able to score pretty quickly, I would imagine. I mean, I think that they've had teams and they've had offenses that just have not had the point guard ingredient figured out, and I think they finally had that. That point guard this year with Thomas, but him missing these 5 games in SEC play has just been a real struggle. And so, they want to be a team that I think is high pressure, high intensity on the offensive side of the ball, and is putting pressure on the rim and putting pressure on the perimeter. But when you don't have your floor general, it just makes things a lot tougher. And now that they have had him back for a few games, you've seen it with the offense. It's starting to come together a little bit more with hanging 80 points at Arkansas, and but they've got so much work to do on the other side that it's going to be really tough for them to win games if they can't improve defensively.
Last one on basketball. This week you got a home game against Mississippi State, a road game at South Carolina. What's your projection on wins and losses there?
Yeah, I think this is a manageable 2-game stretch here. I think you have to go 2-0. You got to start trying to find some ways to get yourself some momentum here. Mississippi State is statistically one of the worst offenses and defenses in the conference right now. They have a pretty dynamic duo with Josh Hubbard, and I'm losing the other guard's name off the top of my head. Epps, the other guard they have. But they're a very beatable team here at home. You have to win that game, and then South Carolina, as long as they don't go 12 for 12 from 3-point range in the first half, that should be a winnable road game for you as well. So I think 2-0 should be the expectation this week if you really want to try to claw yourself back into this thing.
Glenn West, our guest, senior writer over Go 24/7. Let's switch over to football. Since we last spoke, Jordan Seaton pledged to LSU. Now you look at that LSU offensive line. That was a huge question mark on January 2nd. How do you feel about it now?
Much better, and just so much better about the offense too, and the connective tissue they have now with not only quarterback, and who your quarterback's going to be, or at least you hope you know who your quarterback's going to be. With Sam Leavitt, you've got your left tackle and Jordan Seaton, you've got your center and Braylon Moore. Those are arguably 3 of the most important positions on the field on offense, and you kind of have an idea of who those guys are going to be. You round it out also with Princewell Umanmielen on the defensive side of the ball. He's your star edge rusher. That's another critical position this defense really needed to figure out. I think all the pieces are there for this team to compete, right at the top of the SEC in year one. But the big question here over the next several months is going to be how long does it take for Sam Leavitt to heal that injury, because he's obviously going to be the huge domino that's going to have to carry this ship that they've dished out a lot of resources to go get.
What's the expectation level on this team now?
I think it's playoffs. I really do. I think this is a team that you look at and you say, 9 wins is maybe the bare minimum that they could get to. I think it really is going to come down to whether or not Leavitt is healthy and he's able to stay healthy. And but I love all the pieces that they brought in. They've done a really nice job of bringing in the right guys, I think, to fit the offensive system. I just saw earlier today too that they added another 5-star to their freshman class over at On3, and so there's just a lot of building momentum and brewing momentum. I think with this roster right now, it's just going to be about can they get this collection of talent to be a team, and so that's what the spring's going to be for. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for guys like Hussein Longstreet and Landon Clark to get a lot of reps here. with some of these new pieces. And then when Clark gets healthy, or when Levitt gets healthy, him being able to get with his receivers, get with his running backs, his offensive line, all those guys, to be able to try to figure this thing out in the summer and into the fall camp period is going to be really, really an important time for LSU. So I think the expectations should be very high for this team. They didn't pay Brian Kelly to go away. They didn't bring in Lane Kiffin, and they didn't pour the kind of resources they did into this roster to just be okay, I think, this year. I think that they are not going to be easing into this season. They're going to go full pedal to the metal and try to push for a playoff spot and a playoff run.
Baseball team met with the media on Friday. Did you hear anything you were interested in?
Yeah, I had a question in there about the kind of the returning group of sophomores and just how important it was for that nucleus when they were building this roster to know that they had that returning production. And Jay kind of gave an interesting answer that he doesn't think that he thinks LSU's in a unique position because they've lost a lot of players from last year's championship team, but they also return a lot of really critical pieces to that championship roster as well. And I think it's a little bit different from 2024, for example, when you lost just so much of that 2023 team and so much of that nucleus that it was just going to be a little bit harder for that team to kind of come out of the gates and play well right from the start. I think this team's going to have a lot of confidence and a lot of momentum coming out of the gates here, that they have enough of a returning core that has been there and done that and are in the exact same pursuit of a championship. And so I really high on this team. I want to see this pitching come together a little bit more. I'm curious to see, when I get out there for some scrimmages with Casey Evans, with Cooper Moore, what a lot of these pitchers look like here coming off of the winter break. But feel really good about the outfield. Feel really good about Kate Arenbeedy at catcher, and I think LSU feels really good about what they have to work with on the infield as well. So I think it's going to be another high expectation season for LSU, and I'm excited to see it get rolling here in a few weeks.
Just a few weeks away, as Glenn said. You want to read about baseball, basketball, football, recruiting, you can all go 24/7. Glenn's with us on Tuesdays. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks, man.
I want to remind you about my friends at Lifetime Roofing. Core values at Lifetime Roofing: customer service, quality, and integrity. They take so much pride in setting themselves apart from other companies. They're involved in the community, doing multiple roof giveaways, BCA awareness, military giveaways. Every single year, they're involved in things like that to help those in need. Another thing that they want you to be sure you're aware of is if you may have an issue with your roof, get it inspected. And a lot of roofing companies know that their biggest payday comes if they do a replacement. But that's not necessarily always the real reason. That's not what you have to do. You may be able to tune your roof up, may be able to just do a repair. And if that's the case, that's what Lifetime Roofing is going to do. If you need a new roof, you need a new roof, and they're happy to help you with that. But maybe it's just a tune-up. Maybe it's just a repair. They can help you with those at Lifetime Roofing. Check them out online at lifetimeroofingla.com. Always tell you every day that they've got a lifetime workmanship warranty over there at Lifetime Roofing. When we close out the hour, Garrett Nussmeier sat down this morning with Jake and Matt off the bench. They were at the Senior Bowl. And I thought some of the things he had to say were pretty enlightening and obviously heartbreaking with what you saw on the field from LSU and from Garrett Nussmeier in his senior year. I touched on it a little bit earlier this week, but now that Garrett Nussmeier's spoken about it, we can talk about it. We'll do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com. HighlandIG.com is the website. Captives. Captives are a big deal in the insurance business right now. If you are a business that pays a sizable amount in premium, that's got great loss control, that's got great loss history, well, maybe a captive's for you. And if your broker has not shown you a captive, maybe your broker doesn't have access to one or doesn't understand the functionality of one. And that may not be doing you a service. The Highland Insurance Group handles captives every day, and they can see if you're a fit. It could be a game changer for the bottom line of your business if you can get into a captive for your insurance program. So if you haven't looked into it, do it now at the Highland Insurance Group. Go to HighlandIG.com, put in your contact information, let them reach out to you. Tell Jonathan Carbo and his team, hey, I heard about this on Hunt's show. What can you tell me about captives? They are happy to help you with that. It's the Highland Insurance Group. Find them online at HighlandIG.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories,
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Chat with Sam Spiegelman coming up in 13 minutes. Rivals dropped their final 300 for the class of 2026. I talked about it at the top of the show. LSU well represented in the five-star ranks, three of them, Richard Anderson, Lamar Brown, and then Corey Barber, the wide receiver who flipped from Ole Miss to LSU after Lane Kiffin took the LSU job. So 3 5-stars for LSU on Rivals in a small class, but when you rank them up, LSU's second in average player ranking in a smaller class. So we'll talk to Sam Spiegelman about all that coming up in 12 minutes. Also want to talk about Joe Brady getting that job with the Buffalo Bills. He is the new head coach of the Buffalo Bills. But let's close the hour out talking about Garrett Nussmeier at the Senior Bowl. I told you yesterday that I thought it was a big week for Garrett because his senior year just kind of got screwed up. Like, for lack of a better term, just screwed up. He was hurt. The offensive line was bad. The play calling was bad. The whole situation was toxic. It was just devastating to watch a guy who had poured 5 years into the LSU football program have to be taken off the field in an empty Tiger Stadium against Texas A&M because they couldn't protect him. Like, that's not how it was supposed to end for Garrett. And so he's got a chance after getting a little bit healthier over the last 2 months to go to Mobile and show himself as a healthier version of Garrett Nussmeier. And today he sat down with our morning show with Matt Flynn, Jay Kester. They're there all week. And they talked about how excited he was to get out there. He said he's fully healthy. But he also said that they didn't fully know what was wrong until like a month ago. So December at some point. and they put together a plan to figure it out. That's disappointing, but explains a lot. Garrett also said, and this is a quote, "I couldn't use my core." You think about throwing a football, just like you would think about swinging a baseball bat or swinging a golf club or pitching or any of those circular rotating motions in sport where you need to create torque to swing or launch, and he can't do it. Pretty big deal. And, you know, we heard some murmurs in August, and there was the absolute red flag when they let us. I cannot believe Brian Kelly let us in Tiger Stadium a week before the Clemson game to watch Garrett Nussmeier not throw a football. And I came on here the Monday after and I said, I don't know anything. I'm not a doctor. I've been going to LSU football practice since 2010. That's 15 years. I've never seen a quarterback not throw. And then Kelly said, well, we're just kind of taking it easy. He's on a pitch count. No need to overthrow. It's like, wait a second. Quarterbacks throw all the time. And now I've been to 2 practices in the course of 7 days where the quarterback didn't throw the ball. It was obvious. It was very obvious. It was right in front of our face. And I didn't completely dismiss it, but I didn't really push forward on it. And then you go out there against Clemson, and yeah, the offense didn't look great. And we thought they were just being conservative, trying to help out the offensive line. Clemson's got 2 potential first-rounders. You got Parker over there. You got Woods over there. You can't let those guys get after Nussmeier. Young offensive line. Weston Davis is a redshirt freshman. Tyree Adams never played the position before. Like, okay, they're just throwing a lot of screens, trying to run the ball. The defense played great. This is a championship-level team. And then you go out there against Tech, and the offense stinks again. It's like, okay. And that's when Caldwell got yelled at and the whole deal. And maybe Brian Kelly believed that LSU was spoiled and that you won the game. And maybe Brian Kelly was ticked off or irritated because he knew that the team he had invested the most in, he had spent $1 million in the collective, and that he had gotten the most buy-in on to assemble the talent. He's got a good defense, and then his quarterback gets hurt. And Garrett Nussmeier was never the same. His passing yards per game total went down from 311 to 214. It was 100 yards per game. That was not all because of the offensive line. It was not all because of the play callers. It was not all because of wide receiver play. I think the quarterback was significantly hurt. I think he was significantly hurt. And it doesn't matter now to us who cover the program or who are fans of the program. The program's in new hands. There's a ton of excitement. That's all warranted. And we're just going to push forward and look at next year and not dwell on what went wrong in 2025. But the players that were involved in that, Nussmeier, Pyburn, Payton, Hilton, Brown, West Weeks, like these guys who had their eyes on this season, and they were all thinking the same thing we were thinking when they got on that plane to come home from Clemson, like this is going to be really good. And I think a big reason it was not really good was the quarterback was hurt. Garrett's the only one who truly knows how hurt he was. And we'll never have real context for that. And I'm not here to tell you Brian Kelly's out of a job, Joe Sloan's out of a job, Brad Davis is out of a job, LSU's moved on just because Garrett Nussmeier got hurt. There were far greater issues around than just Garrett Nussmeier. There was it was a compilation of a lot of things dumped into one misfortune. But the quarterback getting hurt was a big, big deal. So I hope that Garrett goes out there this week healthy and can rip it. I hope he really wows a couple of NFL teams. I hope he's a third-round pick, gets a chance to make a roster and make an NFL career out of it. I know that he wanted to be the quarterback at LSU his whole life, and he got the opportunity to be that and to come back after a 4,000-yard season and lead a top-5 team, and he was really hurt. And when he says, because he wasn't going to say it during the year, I told y'all this yesterday, he is a boring interview by choice. I don't know that he's a boring guy. He's a boring interview by choice. He just cliches you to death. Football talks you to death. won't talk about himself, talks about everybody else. He's a bad interview on purpose. But so he wasn't going to tell you what was wrong or how bad he was hurting. But today he lifted the curtain back a little bit with Matt and Jake, who disarmed him a little bit. And he said, yeah, I couldn't use my core. That's really, really tough to swallow. LSU fans will be just fine. We're on to 2026. You got a coach that just signed the best portal class in the country. He's an incredible offensive mind. The program seems to be in great hands. Blake Baker's back. There's tons of things to be excited about. I'm not trying to take away from any of that. But this was new breaking today. If you want to hear the interview, you can hear it on demand on OTB. I've also got a story up with the written words of it on LouisianaSports.net. But I think anyone can be human and go, man, that is a really tough break. That he was hurt from August all the way through his senior year. Just never got better. That's a bummer. Bummer for LSU, but onward, on to 2026, right? Speaking of 2026, 3 5-stars in the class. Rivals just came out with their new rankings. Sam Spiegelman with Rivals is going to break all that down when we come back after national headlines at SportsCenter.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. What a place to work on your game. The golf simulator has gorgeous courses like Pebble Beach and Cypress Point and Bethpage Black and TPC Sawgrass and TPC Scottsdale. Even TPC Louisiana's on there. But if you want to go work on your game, you can turn on the driving range feature. You can see the flight path of your ball. You can see your ball speed. You can see where your club impacts the golf ball. Work on hitting drives. Work on hitting wedge shots, long irons. Whatever you need to work on, you can do it. I know this time of year, it's really tough. When you walk out of the office, if you work till 5 or 5:15, it's getting dark. It's cold right there, right now. You don't want to go hit balls outside because it's freezing. Well, none of that matters at Swing Easy Golf Club. You're inside on the simulator. So if you want to get your game tuned up for the spring, want to make sure that you're consistently hitting balls on a weekly basis, become a member at Swing Easy Golf Club. They're on Perkins at Seagan. Of course, they're online at SwingEasyGCBR.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Another NFL head coaching vacancy has been filled. The Bills promoted offensive coordinator Joe Brady to head coach, replacing the fired Sean McDermott. Brady gets a 5-year contract. In the 2+ years with Brady as OC, Buffalo ranked first in expected points added per play, second in points per game. And quarterback Josh Allen won his first NFL MVP. Running back James Cook finished with the rushing title. ESPN NFL analyst Marcus Spears.
I like the hire. Look, if a coach was the play caller that led me to a league MVP, I would want him to be my damn coach as well. And that's what Joe Brady was able to do with Josh Allen. And listen, this was about the margins. When you fired Sean McDermott, this is about winning the Super Bowl. So believe it. Joe Brady has a lot of pressure on him as the head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
Titans set to hire former Giants head coach Brian Daboll as their offensive coordinator, provided he doesn't get the Raiders head coaching job. He interviewed with Vegas a second time today. Quarterback Darian Mensah and Duke agreed to a settlement of their dispute that'll clear the way for him to transfer to another school. He is expected to transfer to Miami. Mensah, the number 5 overall player in ESPN's transfer rankings.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Wednesday, we asked Mel Kiper Jr. if Mike McCarthy can turn Will Howard into the Steelers quarterback of the future when he joins us at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. It's on SportsFan, like 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Joe Brady moving on up in the world. We'll talk about it a little bit later on. Speaking of moving on up in the world, a little bit of that with the new Rivals 300 that was released today. The final edition for the class of 2026. To talk a little bit about that and LSU signing classes, bring on Sam Spiegelman from Rivals, giving us some time on the Jim's Firearms Hotline on this Tuesday. Sam, thanks for that time. How are you?
I can't complain. Thanks for having me, Hunt.
It's our pleasure. Big mover for LSU, obviously, today was Corey Barber. He joins Richard Anderson and Lamar Brown as 5 stars in this class. Barber was a receiver that was committed to Ole Miss under Kiffin. He flipped when Kiffin got the LSU job. There was some shuffling in LSU's high school class at wide receiver. Looks like Barber among the best in the country, according to folks at Rivals. What can you tell us?
Yeah, this is one of Lane Kiffin and new wide receiver coach George McDonald's first call when they landed in Baton Rouge. He was obviously a touted commit when they got him at Ole Miss. Listen, he's from the state of Alabama. He was extremely productive as a junior and as a senior. He had offers from Auburn, from Alabama, from Georgia. It was a really tightly contested recruitment, and he still went out of state to Ole Miss. Obviously, we know what Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss dialed up on offense en route to their semifinal appearance and what they're bringing to Baton Rouge, what they're installing. He has elite speed. And he was one of the top performers at the Alabama-Mississippi games. So not only, people always talk about production, and that can always wow fans, but what he does in these in-person evaluations at these all-star games still carries a lot of weight toward these final rankings. And Corey Barber was one of the best in Mobile this year, along with that production, sub 4.5 speed, and just obviously a great profile for what they do and what they're bringing to that offense in Baton Rouge.
Lane Kiffin, folks in Baton Rouge are still learning about his tendencies, what things he likes, things he doesn't. Is it fair to say that speed is the number one criteria at wide receiver that he's looking for?
I think it's obviously one of the components, but he's, at Ole Miss, when you look at the cast of receivers they've done it with these faster receivers, what they just got in the portal with Winnie Watkins, it is another version of this.
Yeah.
but they've also done it with the receivers with size, which they're going to get. And they're going to get a bunch of different blends of different receivers, especially from the state of Louisiana and the areas they recruit. I mean, you have a plethora of different bodies and body types and skill sets. And I think Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss have shown more of this like pro mindset where these are draftable prospects with different, different skill sets that they bring. It's kind of like assembling a basketball team where, you need your shooting forward, you need your power forward, you need your shooting guards that, and then all three can hit home runs in a Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss offense. And they're assembling a cast of them now to do that.
Let's talk about the other 2 5-stars in this class. I know you spent a lot of time evaluating and covering Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson. Rivals' final rankings have Lamar Brown at the number 10 player in the country. Richard Anderson is the number 18 player in the country. Both guys on the defensive front. How do you feel about those guys and their translation to the college game?
Yeah, I try not to get too caught up into like recency bias, and I try to check myself and then all those around me. Trust me. But no doubt that Lamar Brown and Big Rich Anderson are just 2 of the overall best prospects I have ever covered, not only from the state of Louisiana, but respectively at their different programs for the high school level, and definitely just on my short list of best ever with the Devontae Smiths and so on and so forth, and Leonard Fournette, so on and so forth. Lamar Brown has been maybe the most dominant offensive lineman in high school football for the last 2 seasons, and in just, spurts, whether it's in camp settings, during games for U-High, or in these all-star game settings in Hawaii and also in Orlando, has been absolutely just off the bat crazy, just in what he's shown as a defensive lineman with his explosiveness and instincts and ability to rotate in at different positions and still bring that tenacity. His traits are off the chart. He's got almost 34-inch arms. He's got obviously 6'4" and almost 300 pounds, and his ability to move at that size so seamlessly. He's going to put on another 15 pounds at LSU, and I don't know what offensive linemen are going to do to try to slow him down with that combination of speed and athleticism and power. And then for Big Rich Anderson, again, not to be hyperbolic, I try to check myself. Carr has produced so many college and NFL standouts over the years, so many great high school players. But I can remember talking to Bryce Brown when Big Rich was a freshman, asking me not to create a profile for him, and if I did, to not publicly put it out. There was a lot of hype around Big Rich Anderson within the program. And the type of character kid that he was and then turned out to be such a leader wearing that number 7 for Edna Carr has been just a terrific story. He has all the skill in the world. Obviously one of the more productive, dominant interior defensive linemen last year and this year. What he did against J.T. Lindsey and the Alexandria Trojans in the state championship game was probably the most dominant performance I've ever seen by a defensive lineman in the Superdome. And what he did as a part of that unit this year, absolutely stellar for Edna Carr, historic pace with their back-to-back state championships. Of course, a great performance in Orlando in the Under Armour game. But just a fantastic kid, a great embodiment of that program, and a guy I think is going to step in day one to compete for snaps in Baton Rouge.
And I realize that just because you work for Rivals doesn't mean that these are your rankings, but I am curious, just maybe your thoughts on this. One of the guys who I'm a little surprised at where he finished, and I realize he's a reclassification, and that's part of it, is Haven Finney. Rivals has him as the number 24 corner in the country, and just like when he committed, it's a guy that everybody's like, oh, Corey found his dude, and he very well may have. But do you have any thoughts on where Haven Finney potentially should stack up and what you can expect from him in Baton Rouge?
Yeah, I think from a scouting perspective, he has all the tools and traits, and when you're looking at the national perspective, right, coast to coast, and all these signing classes and all the corners, he's one of the players that checks a lot of boxes. Number 24 in the country is not too shabby at that position, but he's a kid that also didn't participate in any of the drills in San Antonio's All-American game, which is always, like I said, the live evals are such a huge factor for sorting and nitpicking these final spots down the stretch, having been in those shoes prior. So you would have loved that, if someone like Corey Barber, who flashed at Alabama-Mississippi game, or Lamar Brown and Big Rich, who were just tearing up the drills and practices at Under Armour. You would have loved to see that from Havon. But from experience, this has 100% been one of Corey Raymond's number one or number 1B guys on his board when he got to LSU, the same way DJ Pickett was when he first got back to Baton Rouge. Each cycle Corey Raymond does is his top 1 or 2 guys on his board and is on them from day one. Guys like Derek Stingley Jr. or back in the day, even Pat Surtain Jr., he very rarely misses. He is one of the best evaluators of talent I've ever been in contact with. And then when it comes to that position, I very rarely second-guess it. Havon Finney was that guy for this cycle. We recruited him as much, got the early commitment after he reclassified. And having seen Havon play in spurts in the 7-on-7 setting, he is exactly what Corey Raymond draws up in a lab with size, length, speed, quickness, explosiveness, instincts, and the ability to play big on the outside, which is very difficult to do. And I think Havon will, again, battle for a spot in that rotation because of what Corey Raymond believes his talent is.
Yeah, I don't question Corey ever in these, so I was just curious your thoughts.
It's not a good idea to do that.
Yeah, in lockstep right there. Last question here, and we appreciate some time, Sam. We know Lane Kiffin, the self-entitled portal king. We know that LSU just signed 40-plus players in the portal, and that's what he's known for on a national basis. What are your feelings on what Lane Kiffin will do as far as high school recruiting in his time at LSU?
I appreciate that question because, yes, the portal is one area that we're all nuanced in. It's kind of like NFL free agency to a degree, but obviously, much like in the NFL, if you have a great head coach who intrigues players, players are going to go there. But from the high school perspective, I think that the way that they closed out 2026 with the aforementioned Lamar Brown and Big Rich Anderson, guys that other SEC schools in neighboring states with big NIL spending ability on their heels, they were able to still sign these in-state guys, which is always critical for LSU's success on the recruiting trail. And I think they picked up right on the right trail with this 2027 class. They're going to have a big junior day this weekend with a lot of the state's best players back on campus. Lane Kiffin has been all over the country, all over the region, all over the state, meeting with high school coaches from throughout New Orleans and having his staff in key places around the state like Ruston and the major high schools, Destrehan, the places that they're known for finding talent. And this staff is developing relationships. Obviously, he's maintained a lot of relationships. I think that these kids know what he just accomplished at Ole Miss. He was in the headlines every day. I don't know if you remember, but if you can get Marty Smith on the horn, I'm sure he can tell you that Lane Kiffin was in the news, and these kids saw that, and they know what he brings to the table. And, a lot of kids would like to just stay in state and have the opportunity to play for a winning program. And Lane Kiffin has, if he can do that, is going to have a lot of success recruiting this state.
Sam, we appreciate a little bit of time. We'll catch up soon.
Appreciate it.
Sam Spiegelman, he's a national recruiting analyst for the folks over at Rivals, part of the 0-3 team as well. Final Rivals 300 released today. LSU 3 5-stars, the number 2 class in America in terms of the quality of average player. Even though it's a smaller class, it's got some names in it for sure. We hit a couple there with Sam. Appreciate a little bit of his time. Step aside, a familiar name, actually 2 familiar names in Baton Rouge, moving up in the NFL world. We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You can find the entire inventory online at FabryChevrolet.com. Told you all, one of our good friends came over to the house last weekend in a new Denali. Man, is that a nice vehicle. If you're looking for a new SUV in 2026, whether it's a GMC Yukon, GMC Denali, maybe a Sierra as well, you can find it at Fabry Chevrolet. Certainly they got Tahoes. Certainly they have got Suburbans. They've got a Silverado if you're looking for a truck. Big inventory. Highway 61 in St. Francis, Phil, and you know what you're going to get when you work with the Fabry family. You're going to get incredible customer service, a great buying experience, the service after the sale, and they wanted me to remind you that they service all makes in the service department there on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. So stop on by and see them. They've been running the show there since October 1st, so fairly new, but thrilled to be a part of the Chevrolet GMC family. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Find them online at FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgout.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me. Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades. But our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
So a big day today for two former Ed Orgeron assistants. The first is Joe Brady. If you missed this a little bit earlier, Joe Brady named the head coach of the Buffalo Bills today, been their offensive coordinator since 2024, took over an interim role there as the offensive coordinator in 2023. And after they decided to move on from Sean McDermott, the Bills have settled on Joe Brady from inside the building to take over that franchise. It's been an incredible ride for Joe Brady. He finished his playing career at William & Mary in 2012. He was a wide receiver there. And they made him the linebackers coach the next year, which is really odd to go from wide receiver to linebackers coach. And he did that for a couple of years, and then he got hired to go to Penn State to be a grad assistant. And he did that for 2 years. And then Sean Payton picked him up with the Saints as an offensive assistant for 2 years. And he famously came in and gave that presentation on the screen game to Ed Orgeron and LSU staff, and then LSU hired him. And he won the Broyles Award in 2019. I'll be honest, until I re-looked up his bio today, I'm not sure I definitely knew that happened. I wasn't stunned to see it. We know that while Steve Ensminger was the offensive coordinator, Steve Ensminger called the plays, Ed Orgeron very, very publicly said Like, we thought Steve was doing a great job. We wanted him to be the offensive coordinator, but we needed to spread the field a little bit because we got shut out by Alabama. And Steve said, well, you got to hire somebody to come tell me how to do it. And they hired Joe Brady, and he told them how to do it, and they figured it out, and it was magic. So he stayed at LSU for 1 year. And then Matt Rule got hired by the Panthers and said, come with me, you're our offensive coordinator. And that did not work. 2 years, flamed out, Rule's gone, Brady's gone, didn't work at all. So he took a year off, and then the Bills, well, he didn't take a year off, but after everyone was terminated, came back and got on with the Bills as the quarterback coach. And that was a pretty good spot to fall into, well, not fall into, but to be hired to, because you got Josh Allen. And that guy is coachable because he can do some really cool stuff. So Brady is the quarterback's coach, and then they fire the offensive coordinator, so he takes over the offensive coordinator roles in an interim role. Things go much better. Obviously builds a good relationship with Josh Allen. And then he's the offensive coordinator for a couple of years, and then they fire McDermott, and he becomes the head coach. So you're talking about a course of 10 years between being a Pitt State grad assistant to the head coach of the Bills. Like 10 years, that's a pretty meteoric rise. Now, in the era of McVay, in the era of some of these really young coaches, it's not stunning, but Joe Brady's 36 years old. Like, he's not that much older than Josh Allen. So he takes over the Buffalo Bills. I've said this many, many times. Many, many times. If you were associated with that 2019 team at LSU, you got a fan in me. Long as you're not in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or College Station, Texas, like, you've got a fan in me. And Joe Brady was a huge piece to what LSU did in 2019. Steve Ensminger's role in that probably gets minimized a little bit, but unquestionably, and Steve would tell you this, they needed Joe's influence. But Steve was dialing him up. And, you know, the Burrow kid's pretty good. But I did not want Joe Brady to be the next head coach at LSU. I did not think that would have been a good hire. I believe there are far more moving pieces as a college football head coach than there are as an NFL head coach. It's a completely different job. And I think that having been in NFL buildings, the Saints for 2 years, Panthers 2 years, and now Bills for 5, he's got a decade of experience understanding how NFL buildings work. You've got pros that you don't have to babysit. You don't have to renegotiate contracts with every player on your team. It's not 100 scholarship guys. You got an active roster and a practice squad that's well under that number. Things are a little bit more controlled. It's a lot more about football and a lot less about social media drama and whether a contract's enforceable or not, and whether or not the quarterback's suing you because he wants to get in the portal. And like, it's just, there's a lot more going on in college, and I just would have preferred and do prefer that LSU got somebody that understands how all that works. I don't doubt Joe Brady's football acumen at all. Whether or not you need to bring him in to babysit a bunch of NIL millionaires, I don't think that's a great idea. And I think there are times where that job feels like babysitting. So awesome for Joe Brady to get that opportunity. There are a lot of people that are shaking their fists at the Bills saying, you didn't have a plan. This was stupid. I don't know. You let Joe Brady put his stamp on some things. You keep the continuity with Josh Allen on that side of the ball. And maybe you get a fresh set of ideas moving forward on defense and a fresh message. I did not think that the Bills should have fired McDermott. I don't think this is some sort of panic, just rehire the guy that's already here. I think they probably had an eye on Joe Brady at some point. They probably kicked the tires on a number of candidates and decided that they wanted to keep the continuity with Josh Allen. And not upsetting that apple cart is not the worst thing in the world, I promise. So great day for Joe Brady, former LSU co-offensive coordinator. Passing game coordinator is what they called him in 2019. So he's the new head coach of the Bills. The other one that you may have missed, the Washington Commanders have hired a new defensive coordinator. Durante Jones has been hired by the Commanders as their new defensive coordinator. You'll remember the name. He was LSU's defensive coordinator in 2021 after the Pelini debacle in 2020. And the way it worked was Dave Aranda left after 19, and there was heavy influence from upstairs at LSU that Bo Pelini needed to be Ed Orgeron's next defensive coordinator. So that's who they hired. And it didn't work at all. From the disastrous passing record Mississippi State accumulated all the way through the regular season, it was terrible. And they had to make a move. So they made a move, and then they couldn't hire anybody. They're interviewing folks. Marcus Freeman says no. Looking at Josh Arnett at Mississippi State, and he says no, and that interview didn't go well. And they were scrambling to try to find someone to be the defensive coordinator. And they ended up with the Vikings defensive backs coach, who had not been a defensive coordinator since Bowie State in 2009. It had been more than a decade since he had called a defense. But they brought Durante Jones in, and I wouldn't submit the opener was great against UCLA. That wasn't a great defensive effort, but it got better. They were better on defense toward the end of the year, that year in 2021. But then Ed Ogeron got fired, and the whole staff got let go, and Brian Kelly cleaned house and brought in who he wanted. But Durante Jones took a swing at LSU, and it didn't work. But he got that experience, and he went right back to the Vikings to be the defensive backs coach. Then he was the next year promoted to pass game coordinator on defense, did that for 2 seasons, and now gets a chance with the Washington Commanders to call defenses again. And I think Durante Jones would probably tell you that year he spent at LSU calling defenses at a very high-profile spot probably elevated him to the opportunity to do this, because he went right back where he was. And I don't know if he stayed with the Vikings for that whole time, if they would have promoted him and then allowed him to take this next step. So I spoke with Durante Jones on 2 occasions for the pregame show. I thought he worked really hard in the 1 year at LSU, and his defenses got better as the season went on. And I'm pumped for him as well to get this opportunity. So 2 former Ed Ogeron assistants promoted today. 1, Joe Brady, new head coach of the Buffalo Bills. 2, Durante Jones, new defensive coordinator for Jaden Daniels, Dan Quinn, and the Washington Commanders. So good stuff for those guys who wore the purple and gold for a very short time, less than a full calendar year, but are parlaying things into some pretty good success in the National Football League moving forward. So want to touch on that here on this Tuesday. Do want to remind y'all, sincerely, sports trivia is a heck of a lot of time, a lot of fun at Court to Table on Tuesdays. It starts at 8 o'clock. You have you out of there by 9:30, not a late night, not up all hours of the night. They got a great restaurant, great food, got some new menu items. I tried one last week that was fantastic. And you can win gift cards. Every round is a $25 first place gift card. You can win a pickleball time on the courts to be redeemed at a later date. It's just a lot of fun. We'll have hoops on TV. You can win gift cards in pickleball time, get some cold drinks, something good to eat. 8 o'clock on Burbank, Court to Table. Come test your sports knowledge. We always have an LSU football round. Haven't done any of the rounds yet for tonight, so we'll see what comes to my brain. But it's always a good time. So invite y'all, if you have not been, to come on out and see us at Court to Table on Tuesdays night, 8 o'clock, sports trivia. It's kind of clashed with LSU basketball the last couple of weeks. Not the case because they don't play until tomorrow. So hope to have a good crowd out at Court to Table tonight. We'll hope to see you at 8 o'clock at Burbank. All right, we'll step aside. When we come back, we will get into some more discussion revolving around LSU. We'll do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Love reminding about our friends at Auctioner, specifically some of their tips for wellness in 2026. We're a month into this thing, so maybe you've implemented some really good changes in your life. Maybe you're still struggling to get that moving in 2026. Well, they've got an acronym for you that's SMART, S-M-A-R-T. Set your goals specifically. That's your S. Running a 5K, adding a couple pounds of muscle. Make those goals measurable. That's M. Track your workouts, time your runs, log your reps. Your A is achievable. Don't set something crazy. Nothing 7 days a week at 4:30 in the morning when you've been rising at 7:30. Make them achievable. Make them realistic. Choose goals that work with your lifestyle. Remember, small changes are the ones that actually stick. So make them realistic and give yourself a time frame. That's the T. A target date that will keep you motivated. So specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and a time frame. SMART goals made simple from our friends at Auctioner.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information...
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
A little bit of LSU baseball here on this Tuesday. Nothing significantly newsworthy, and obviously they canceled the scrimmages over the weekend as it was raining all weekend and bitterly cold. But I've been thinking about the LSU roster, thinking about some things that could happen as you move forward in the season, breakout potential, how an order could stack up, just like general thoughts as I prepare for some preseason content over at LouisianaSports.net that we'll talk about here as well. I'll break down every position on the field over on the website. We'll certainly have a lot of preview content here. I hope to get out to some scrimmages over the next week and a half to see them some more, to give you some actual first-hand account of what I'm looking at. But one of the things that I'm very hopeful about, I don't think it's a lock, but I'm very hopeful about, is that Cade Arambidi blossoms into a real star at LSU. Now, that's a hard thing to heap on somebody. And I remember very vividly having a conversation last year with some people around the LSU program, and I know that the general consensus amongst those in the program was that Luis Hernandez's gaudy offensive statistics were not going to translate to LSU, not only because the competition level was going to be better than Indiana State to the SEC, but because they were adding catching to his plate. Remember, Hernandez did a lot of DHing, played a little bit of first base at Indiana State, did not do a lot of catching in his time there. So when you're just DHing and you're facing lesser competition, you're just in a better place to produce offensively. And that assertion was right by the LSU staff. Hernandez was massively impactful offensively. In the postseason, 2 huge home runs against Little Rock in the decisive game of the regional. The ball he put in play hard that banged off Charles Davalon's shoulder that tied the game against Arkansas right before Jerry Jones walked it off. Great swing. He was impactful, but keep in mind, he was a slugger at Indiana State, knocking on the door of 20 home runs. That just wasn't going to happen at LSU. So you have to, when you're thinking about production offensively from the catcher position, you have to consider the workload defensively. And I think Cade's going to take a big workload defensively. I don't think that Omar Cerna is ready to play a lot of catcher defensively at the SEC level. Maybe on a Tuesday against Louisiana Tech, but not in the SEC right now. Eddie Yaman might be able to. He might be able to, but I don't know that. And if you can get some production from some of those guys and you feel like you can spare Aaron Beatty some of those innings on his squatting behind home plate, that'd be a good thing. But I think that Aaron Beatty's got a chance to be a really productive offensive player. By now you know, well, I should say that. You may know that he led the team in hitting in the fall. Led the team in batting average in the fall. Hit a lot of balls hard. If you go back and look at last year, game against Arkansas, drives a home run out to the opposite field, had 3 hits, I believe, in that game. He did a good job in the midweek of hitting the doubles, hitting the ball over the fence. It's like you look at Cade Aaron Beatty, and he just physically looks the part of an all-SEC player. And something that Jay Johnson said in his preseason media availabilities is like, Cade Aaron Beatty, when we recruited him out of Houston and he signed with LSU and we got him through the draft, and trust me, it was a process to get him through the draft. Jay Johnson said when that all happened, he could one day be the best player on our team. Now, I don't think he's going to be the best player on this team. He could be. I would want a couple other guys in the batter's box before him right this second. Derek Curiel, Stephen Milam, Jake Brown. I would probably say Zach York for me right now. But those guys, potentially Braden Simpson or Seth Dardar, potentially Trent Caraway. Like, I can see a world where Cade Aaron Beatty hits 8th on this team. I can also see a world where he hits 5th. And I'll tell you this, if he hits 5th, I don't think that's going to be because the middle of the lineup falters and you can't find anybody to hit 5th. If Cade Aaron Beatty hits 5th, he's going to be a guy that's a 328 batting average, 13 home run guy. And that is just huge at the catcher spot. And I watched him in the fall really swing the bat well, really hit the ball hard. I know that the staff is really high on him. And it just feels like, based on some of the things I've seen defensively and then the production in the fall, that things are starting to slow down and that the talent is taking over. And that's what you're waiting for. That's what you're looking for. And it always happens at a different rate. I mean, I could go through guys all throughout the last 15 years at LSU who developed at a different rate. Like, Stephen Milam was awful in the fall as a freshman. And then probably 4 weeks into the season, it clicked and he took off. Derek Curiel and Alex Bregman were ready to hit when they set foot on the campus. Ready to go. Mikey Matuk, who became an SEC Player of the Year, was awful in the fall and didn't play a lot into the middle of the season until he took over in April. So there's just a range there. And sometimes guys just take a year. I need a year. Andrew Stevenson could not hit at all his freshman year. But Paul Maneri said, you're so good in center field, you got to play. So he goes out there and he hits a $160 and he looks like a little leaguer trying to hit Jonathan Gray. Just had no chance in the Super. Goes off to Cape Cod, comes back in the fall, comes back in the spring, boom, hits 360. Curiel, Bregman, ready to go in October. Milam, ready to go in February. Matuk, ready to go in April. And then you got guys like Andrew Stevenson that take a year. Maybe Cade Arambidi is one of those kids he just needed a year. Not that he was bad last year. He swung the bat pretty well when he got a chance. A lot of it was against midweek pitching. But maybe this is the breakout for him. And if LSU is going to compete for a championship, and like, I think at this point, it's not even ridiculous to start with that because it's just the standard the program is set with this coaching staff. You're going to have some guys take a big step. Whether that's Caraway, Arambidi, Evans, Schmidt, whether that's York. Like, you're going to have some guys really outperform what you thought they would do. And it happens every year. Anderson and Ianson did it last year. So did Shores. Curiel did. Stanfield did. I mean, Stanfield led the SEC in doubles. So you got to have that. Somebody's got to be better in May, June than you thought they were going to be in January. And I think right now the expectation on Cade Arambidi is pretty low because if you listen to people talk about this team, you hear them talk about LSU baseball. You hear Evans, you hear Curiel, you hear Milam, you hear Brown, you hear Stanfield. We're talking a little bit about Zach York. You hear William Schmidt. You hear about Cooper Moore coming over from Kansas. Trent Caraway's big regional at Oregon State. You hear about Zach Cowan, Devin Sheeran. You hear about Gavin Guidry coming back. Where is Cade Arambidi on the buzz meter right now? It's pretty low. That caught my eye. I was like, well, maybe it should be. Maybe he's going to hit 260 with 6 home runs and play a nice catcher, and you can win with that. You can win with that. Luis Hernandez did not set the world on fire last year offensively. He played a nice catcher, and the guys out in front of him were awesome. But it sure does help if you can get a catcher that rakes. And Arambidi's got that profile. And I think Omar Cerna behind him will grow into that profile. I don't know that he's ready just yet. But just something to file away. I'm not making a bold prediction today. I'm not giving you a spot in the lineup today. I'm not telling you how many home runs he's going to hit today. I'm just telling you as I was looking at the roster, looking at storylines, looking at potential breakouts, I stopped with Arambidi and thought, there's a lot of variance here. And where that variance settles is going to be pretty indicative of where this team is, I think. More so on the pitching side than offense. Not with Arambidi, with the pitching staff. But offensively, it's hard for me to come up with a world where the second baseman on this team hits 240 and strikes out a lot. It's hard for me to find a world where third base is a black hole. Like, I feel like you're going to fill those with capable players. Simpson, Dardar, Reeves, Caraway. It's hard for me to envision a world where Stephen Milam isn't a great defender who hits somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 and hits double-digit home runs. I know what I'm going to get out of the outfield. Like, there's not a lot of variance in a lot of those places. Catcher, if you told me Arambidi hits 260 with 6 homers, wouldn't be stunned. If you told me he hit 340 with 12, I wouldn't be stunned either. There's a big variance there. I think it's interesting. So we'll see how that all shakes out. One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Vaughn and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. If your house was built in the mid-90s, early 90s, maybe late 90s, you got that big jacuzzi tub that may or may not work. You got the standing shower off to the side as well. A lot of the bathrooms that were built in that time frame look like that, and maybe some of them are starting to falter a little bit. That's the case, or you just don't like the way it looks, or you don't use the tub. Take the tub out. Do a renovation. That tub is a lot of room. It can turn into a very, very functional, very, very comfortable walk-in shower. And then you go, well, I've already got a shower. What do I do with that? Well, you can turn that into a linen closet or something else. That's the beauty of what David and his team can do. They can handle closet work, handle bathroom work. They can handle the tiling on the floors, the vanities, the plumbing situations, all that can be done with one phone call to David Duvall at One Bath and Closet. So get that free consultation. That part does not cost you a cent. Just sit down with David and talk to him about what he can possibly do for you. If that bathroom situation sounds familiar to you, reach out to David at onebathandclosets.com, onebathandclosets.com. We take a time out, come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. Looking for a residential loan for that house? First American Bank and Trust. Looking for a commercial loan for your business? First American Bank and Trust. Their management team averages 25 years of experience with the bank. It's because they've cultivated an incredible working environment, an incredible culture that fits into the fabric of our communities down here in South Louisiana. That's why they fit in so well here. They've 25 locations. They've been in business 116 years in Southeast Louisiana. Every single decision that is made, your residential loan, your commercial loan, is made here in Southeast Louisiana by people you walk around with every day. You're not just a line number. You're not calling a call center in Atlanta or Seattle. Everything that you do and every person that you work with at First American Bank and Trust is working in Southeast Louisiana with you. So whether you're down in Lafourche Parish, Terrebonne Parish, up the I-12 corridor in Tangipahoa or St. Tammany, over in Hammond, closer to Baton Rouge, Dutchtown, Jones Creek, First American Bank and Trust is here to help you. It's First American Bank and Trust.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Wrapping things up here on a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Again, I want to remind y'all to come on out to Court at the Table tonight. Sports trivia, 8 o'clock. Want to test your sports knowledge, win some gift cards, eat some great food, have some delicious drinks, watch hoops on TV. They got 5 million TVs in that bar that we're in. It's always a lot of fun. So come on out, 8 o'clock on Burbank. We'll have you out of there before 9:30. Not a late night. Always a lot of fun. So I hope to see a good crowd of y'all out there tonight. Tomorrow's show, we will talk about LSU and Mississippi State. In basketball, it's a do or die for LSU. You got to win the games. Got to win the games this week. Mississippi State's not good. They're in your building. South Carolina, also not good. You travel to go see them. So big week for LSU to stay alive at all. And we'll talk about it tomorrow. Also going to look to try to check in with folks over in Mobile tomorrow for a little Senior Day update. I see from Alondra's pictures online that she is at Senior Bowl practice right now. Just made a Diego Pavia height joke, which has been all the rage on the internet these days. So we'll try to check in on Mobile tomorrow. But for now, let's play Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, we're going to start it off with the Buffalo Bills. So, obviously, Joe Brady today got hired. Oh, my goodness, why is it not going down? Okay, so Joe Brady got hired today. But that's not the problem because the Bills had another guy who wanted the head coaching job, and as a former offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll. So former New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll could serve as the temporary Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator or the Las Vegas Raiders head coach next season. The Titans are finalizing a deal to make him the offensive coordinator, but Daboll obviously wanted the Bills job, but that has already been taken. So will Daboll unlock Cam Ward in Tennessee? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. I'll give it a shot. I think Daboll's a decent coach. I think Cam Ward is a decent player. He kind of put on a Superman cape against the Saints in that game in
look good.
Nashville. I'm not giving up on Cam Ward, and I'm not giving up on Brian Daboll. They both had some bumps early on in their coaching careers there, but I think it could work. I'm not going to rule it out.
And also, he changed around Josh Allen, and we saw what he did with Jackson Dart, even though Dart was a lot times in the injury tent. So former Dallas Cowboys DeMarcus Lawrence, after signing with the Seattle Seahawks in March, was said on an interview, and quote, "Dallas is my home, but I know for sure I'm not going to win a Super Bowl there." Now, after 11 years in Dallas, he is now headed to the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. So the Cowboys won't ever make it back. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it.
Really gonna leave that one?
I think before I'm done here, the Cowboys will get back to the Super Bowl.
Man,
I'm not saying it's going to happen next year during that guy's career, but it's going to happen one day because everybody gets there except the Browns. So I think the Cowboys will get there.
Man, I mean, Hunt, they're the last team in the NFC to even make the conference championship.
I know.
We've seen the Lions come from the ashes,
which is why the Cowboys could. It's just probably going to take a change in leadership.
We're
being honest.
Yeah, well, just let time do its thing.
That's exactly how that works.
So Matt McClung, the 3-time defending NBA dunk contest champion, will not participate in the event next month. His father, Marcus McClung, said McClung is the only player to ever win the dunk contest 3 times in a row. So it's a dunk contest. It's already dying, but is this the final straw? Can't recover from this. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to take it. I'm done with the dunk contest.
Very.
Dwight Howard with the Superman cape and the
Blake Griffin
jumping over the car was one thing, but I like the Howard one where he did the tap dunk and the sticker on the thing.
Oh yeah, so how high
and
he
when
jumped.
He threw it in.
Yes.
That was all awesome, but we've kind of done it all, and they miss so much. And it just can't do it. I think the 3-point shootout is fascinating. I think it's cool to watch dudes nail 23s in a row. So that's cool. And so I realize that the slam dunk competition had its day.
It did.
It's over. We've done it all. We've gone around the back and through the legs, jumped over cars and put stickers up there and dunked over people and bounced it off the backboard. We've done what we can do. We did a good job, but we're bound as humans to gravity, and we figured it out. That's the end of it. So let's shoot threes.
Yeah, that, and I also think what hurts it is that no stars do it.
Yeah.
We're talking about Matt McClung. We're not talking about Zion Williamson, John Morant, all these guys that are supposed to be high flyers in the NBA that don't do it. So I think that also has to do with it dying because no stars want to do it. So that's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right, that is it for Take It or Leave It. Trying to warm up out there in the capital city. I know a lot of folks up in North Louisiana still fighting. I just got word that Shreveport has canceled schools again for Wednesday. So if those of y'all that are up in North Louisiana still fighting the elements and making us part of your days, we certainly appreciate it. And reminder, all week long, Monday through Thursday, I should say. So 2 more shows from the Senior Bowl for Off the Bench. They had Garrett Nussmeier today, had the executive director of the Senior Bowl on today, and they'll continue to roll through and get some great guests and great content from over there in Mobile. So check that out 7 to 10. And if you miss it, you can catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. We're chugging through another week. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, we'll talk LSU, Mississippi State. We'll check in on the Senior Bowl and start to keep an eye towards baseball. They're going to get out there on the practice field a little bit over the next couple of days before it gets really, really cold again. So we'll do what we can. And, of course, always want to remind you all to head over to LouisianaSports.net. We've got a lot of content. I've got a profile up of every single transfer portal player that LSU signed in the football portal cycle, so you can go check out those as they continue. And we're about 4 days from getting into some baseball position preview content as well. So reminder, always go check us out at LouisianaSports.net. If you missed any of today's show, we opened things up talking some LSU recruiting. We did that with Sam Spiegelman as well. You can find that at Hunt on LSU. Talked to Sharif Ishak about the New Orleans Saints. You can find that at Hunt on Saints. Big day for Joe Brady and Durante Jones. We touched on a little bit of that as well. So go check out all of that wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. Matt's going to drive you home next. That is, of course, after further review. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. That'll be for a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show right here on the capital city's leader in sports talk. That's, of course, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders,